And joining us now is Sri Lanka's Consul General to Toronto, Bandula Jayasekara. We welcome you to TVO.
Thank you, Steve.
It's nice to meet you, sir. I want to start by reading something that the Washington Post recently published, and then we'll come out and talk after that. 6 months after Sri Lanka's decades-old civil war ended with a final assault, about 200,000 people remain trapped in overcrowded government-run camps that were once safe havens for those fleeing the conflict. Facing pressure from the Obama administration and the European Union, the Sri Lankan government last month launched a campaign to resettle tens of thousands of the minority Tamil detainees. But interviews in the country's war-ravaged north reveal that many civilians have merely been shuffled from the large camps to smaller transit ones and are being held against their will. Others have been released only to be taken from their homes days later with no indication of where they have gone. That's the Washington Post, Mr. Consul General, on November the 11th. How do you respond to those comments?
The Washington Post is not the Holy Bible. So that's really my answer. And taking from there, I would like to say that there's no pressure from Obama administration or anything. We, as a government, a responsible government, we look after our citizens.
So are you rejecting the information in the Post?
Very much. That's what I said. Post is not the Holy Bible.
It's not the Bible, but
it is. No, we reject
does that mean
it.
it's wrong?
It is wrong.
You're rejecting everything that's in here.
Yes, very much.
If this is not accurate, what would you say is more accurate?
I would say that we look, like I said before, that we look after our citizens. After we defeated the LTT, they came. Right now, we have 140,000 in these camps. It started with 290,000. We have 140,000, and we continue the process of resettling them.
And what has happened to the people you have resettled?
They're gone back. The biggest problem we had was, Steve, the landmines. It's 1.5 million landmines were there. This was a conflict which went on for 27 years. So we are continuing to resettle them. We couldn't do that overnight. Look at Katrina. I mean, how long have they really still settled after the thing now? Even the tsunami, we resettled them faster. So people can say that, but we continue because they are our people.
There are allegations that people are simply disappearing. Do you reject those?
I totally reject. What we have done is, in these camps, we have identified so far about 12,000 hardcore LTT members. Let's not forget, they came over, and behind the civilians, the hardcore LTT, they fought us for 27 years. They were there, so we need to take them. And some are being questioned, some are being rehabilitated. If you read the
rehabilitated?
Yes, some of them. If you read the National Post of Canada, which Stuart Bell went and said he went to a camp where these child soldiers who carried guns are now carrying pens and they're studying. And last week, some of these children went to the parliament in Colombo, and they were received by the parliamentarians. Okay. We are doing that.
But the National Post is not the Holy Bible either.
Yeah, it is not the Holy Bible, because here was a journalist who went there.
No, we know. Stuart Bell.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
well
saying.
Known in Canada.
He went there and saw to themselves.
Well, Amnesty International has, of course, tried to look into that. You're shaking your head already. You don't like this organization, I can tell. But anyway, they have heard from the relatives of people who are still in these settlement camps, and they report overcrowding. They report a lack of sanitation facilities. Camp residents wading through overflowing sewage after heavy rains, women giving birth in front of strangers with no privacy because they are in a terrible situation. Are you doing anything to address these circumstances?
No, I deny that also. Let me add to this that, after 2 days of when we had the camps, we had 400 million deposits. The people in these camps deposited in the banks 400 million. We must be the richest internally displaced people. And it's not easy, and I have heard these allegations of rape. You cannot have these type of things the way those camps are. So people, Amnesty, they also need a job. They need to play a role, so they continue to say this.
So is it a disinformation campaign?
Yes, definitely. It happened for last 27 years. So what I would say is, those people, come over, have a look.
Have you allowed humanitarian organizations into the camps?
Steve, we have right now 58 humanitarian organizations.
58?
58.
Boy, you know what? Yeah. Something's wrong here, because we read in the newspapers all the time about how you're denying access to
I agree. Something is wrong, because let's not forget that LTT, they were the masters of propaganda. They had this for a long time, and which we were, I would say till the government got the act together, it was difficult. They had done this for 25 years. They created a diaspora. That's what they did. This was just not a fluke.
Okay,
They planned, they created this.
If you know 58 organizations that are in there, you should be able to name some of them. Who's
Yeah,
in there?
all the UNDP, UNHCR, UNICEF, all these, I mean, from the UN organizations, Save the Children.
How much longer do you think it will be before all the detainees will be able to go home?
I would say the landmine, we are continue to clear the landmines. I would say it's maybe 1 or 2 months we can do that. See, from 290 we brought it down to 140. That's the latest figures I have.
And you think 140,000 people can be
Yes,
resettled in the next couple of months?
Yeah, because the land, we have got support from 10 countries to clear landmines. We recently got machines, about 5 machines from Czech Republic, which the army is doing that. So the army which fought are into rehabilitation programs. So that's what we have to do. And that is also our responsibility. If somebody goes, a landmine goes, then they'll say, okay, they blame. The blame game continues, but we will not stop because they are my people.
How many Tamil militants do you think are still hiding in these camps?
Now we have found 12,183, that's a rough figure, but there could be more. The people are checking on them because we have people who are working with us.
But you say you found 12,000 already.
Already, so
Okay.
there could
Are
be
there
more.
more?
Yeah, there could be more.
Mario Ganesan, Tamil member of Sri Lanka's parliament, has said that because of the camps, Tamils feel like inmates in their own country. I know you have described them as our own citizens, but they say they feel like inmates in their own country. He says the irony is that the root causes of this conflict are being ignored yet again, and that can only mean more Tamil tigers in the future. Is he right?
Mano Ganesan has appeared in front of with the LTT on stage. That's my answer about Mano Ganesan. He has addressed LTT rallies, he has appeared with the LTT. And so that's about Mano Ganesan. So that says it all. And he's an opposition member, he will continue to oppose. And he had spoken in support of the LTT.
So you think he's a Tamil sympathizer and therefore his comments are irrelevant?
Yes, because there are proper democratic Tamils, like for example, Veerasinghe Mananda Sangari, the democratic Tamil leader, his constituency was Kilinochi. He was against because he opposed the LTT. Then you have Minister Douglas Devananda, who's the Minister of Social Service. 13 attempts on his life by the LTT. So there are lots of democratic Tamils. So he has the right, he is exercising his democratic right, but I mean I can say without fear, that's Mano Ganesan.
Okay, let me read something from the South China Morning Post. This was published a few months ago. The government has 2 choices, revenge and retribution, or robust reintegration. There's an obvious temptation to opt for the former. The rebels turn to terrorism to push their cause, claiming the lives of thousands of people. Trials have to be held for rebel leaders who have been captured, but there has to be a sweeping amnesty for other Tamils. They have genuine grievances after all. No one ethnic group can be shown favoritism. Tamils have to be given the right to equal education and employment opportunities. And the question is, what are you doing to reintegrate Tamils into Sri Lankan society?
See, let me tell you, in the south, we have the capital, 53% is Tamils. And I really would like not like...
Colombo?
In Colombo, the capital. I really do not like to call them Tamils. I'm the Consul General for Sri Lanka. I'm the Consul General for all Sri Lankans. As far as I'm concerned, they're all Sri Lankans. We have 5 communities, Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, Malays, and Dutch burghers. So for me, they're all Sri Lankans.
So you represent Tamils as well?
Yeah, they're Sri Lankans to me.
Do they feel like you represent them?
Very much. Because maybe people who are sympathetic towards the LTT, they would always have something to say. And for the and it's more than that, what has happened is, it has been a money-making venture, which they have made lots of money. And I would say my first interview which I gave here was saying that all Tamils are not LTT. We had the foreign minister, Lakshman Kadiragama, a Tamil who was assassinated by the LTT, the best foreign minister we ever had. We had the Inspector General of Police, Rudra Rajasingham. We had today the Air Force number 2 is a Sri Lankan Tamil. So people are not aware or they don't want to even talk about it.
Okay. This is your first posting, right?
This is my first posting.
You're new to the diplomatic game.
Yes.
How long have you been here?
Nearly 2 years.
2 years. So you have an understanding of what if I can put it this way, the English-Canada-Quebec relationship is like. Do you think that's a model for what could take place in your country?
No. Number one, before I give you a complete answer on to that, I must say, like here, I have told some of the Canadians, don't bring this Sinhala Tamil. I don't say you're a Quebecois, you're from France or which. I don't say that. I said, treat us as Sri Lankans. That's number one. And then, coming to the model, that we would have our own model. We are not interested in following the